Hello everyone. Welcome to this live English lesson on the Jacob Teacher YouTube channel. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're getting ready to start your weekend. Let me know where you're watching from in the comment section. We have some people joining us already. Tao is here, Patricia is here, Hale is here, Christine is here, Taylor is here. And Taylor asks if I had a lesson last week. No, Taylor, I did not have a lesson last week. I've been quite busy, so I'm going to try to come on this YouTube channel at least every 2 weeks. That's my goal. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I'm really excited to talk about. We're going to be talking about embarrassing English stories. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is because I think that it's incredibly important to maintain a sense of humor when you're learning a new language or just in life in general, okay? Learning a new language involves making mistakes. It involves learning from these mistakes, so it's inevitable. Inevitable means that it's going to happen no matter what. It's inevitable that you're going to make mistakes, and these mistakes at times will be extremely embarrassing. You're going to feel bad about yourself after. It's just going to happen. If you are able to maintain a sense of humor, if you're able to laugh at yourself afterwards and to make fun of yourself, then these embarrassing mistakes will seem a lot less scary and they'll hold a lot less power over you. Okay, so what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to look at 3 stories in English. These are real stories from real native speakers that were posted online. And we're going to analyze some of the, well, not analyze, we're going to look at some of the language that's used in the stories and learn some new vocabulary words too. The stories are quite funny. I'm really looking forward to sharing them with you. And if you'd like to share your own embarrassing story, please feel free to. The point of today is to laugh at ourselves. So I'll share one embarrassing story about myself to begin. A few years ago, I was in the gym and I was working out. Sorry if you can hear that right now, the snow blowers, I think. It snowed a lot in Canada this week, and there are people clearing the snow from the road, and I think they started working just like 10 minutes ago in time for this live lesson, which is perfect. So if you can hear them, I apologize. But I'll tell a story about myself that's kind of embarrassing. So a few years ago, I went to the gym. I was at the gym. I was into weightlifting at the time. I really enjoyed lifting weights, and I was trying to lift heavier and heavier weights. And I remember one day I went and I was trying to lift the heaviest weight that I'd ever lifted before. And so I put my music in, I was getting all excited. I put the weights on the bar, and it was that exercise, it's called a bench press in English, where you lie on your back and you have to lift a bar above your head. So I got ready and I lifted the bar, and when I tried to lift it up from my chest, it was too heavy and I couldn't do it. Luckily, there were people around. They came and they helped me. They rescued me, really, because it was kind of a dangerous situation. But it was so embarrassing because I couldn't lift this one thing, and I felt horrible about myself. I left the gym immediately, I think. But now it's a funny story, and I laugh about it sometimes. So let me know your embarrassing stories in the comment section if you'd like to. Let's begin this lesson. Like I said, we're going to read 3 stories. Now, these are real stories. I found them on a website called Reddit. And Reddit is quite an entertaining website, I'm sure you've heard of before. So, story number 1. This is, well, let's just read it. If you have any questions, by the way, about the story, about any of the language that's being used, feel free to ask in the comment section. The worst was on a busy Saturday where I had 3 funerals and a wedding to play as organist. By the time the wedding finally arrived, after the 3 funerals were over, I must have been tired or daydreaming because I played the funeral procession music as the bride entered the church, rather than the trumpet voluntary as scheduled. So there's an organist here, a professional organist, and this person had 3 funerals to play in one day. So I don't know if it's a he or a she. Let's assume it's a she for the sake of this story. So she had 3 funerals to play and a wedding party in one day, or a wedding. So she finishes working at 3 funerals and she's playing the same funeral music at these funerals, and then she goes to the wedding. She says, I must have been tired or daydreaming. She wasn't paying attention. And instead of playing the wedding music, the trumpet voluntary, she plays the funeral march. So imagine a bride is walking out and this organist starts playing funeral music. This bride obviously has been looking forward to her wedding day for a long time. And funeral music is played as she walks out. I hope she was not superstitious. I hope that no one there was superstitious. But quite a funny story. Now we're going to look at by the time here. Okay? By the time the wedding finally arrived, after the 3 funerals were over, I must have been tired. So by the time is used when we're talking about a relationship in time between 2 different events. So for example, by the time we get to the restaurant, it will be closed. So when we get to the restaurant, you could say it will be closed. It would mean the same thing. By the time this happens, this will have happened. And we can use it in many different tenses here. By the time we get to the restaurant, it will be closed. Here's another example. By the time I got to school, she was already in class. So imagine I'm going to meet my friend at school, but I'm running a little late. By the time I got to school, she was already in class. So she had been at school for a while. She decided to go to class, maybe. Here's my first question for you. That was a lot of talking. Thank you for staying with me if you're still listening. By the time I got home yesterday, what happened? So when you got home yesterday, by the time you got home yesterday, what thing had already happened? Or finish the sentence however you like, really. And let me check back on the comment section. So Koni Toko says, haha, poor bride. Yeah, I agree. That's awful for the bride. And Hu Heap Tran says he played like a habit. Yeah, he or she, whoever it was, this poor organist, and forgot what he or she was doing and played the funeral march. Oops. Yeah, it's quite funny. And unfortunate, I'm sure that it wasn't funny at the time. I'm sure it was horribly embarrassing, like many of the mistakes that we make are at the time. But she was able to laugh at it afterwards, which is important, I think. Okay, good. So, by the time I got home yesterday, Taylor says, my mom already finished her dinner. By the time I got home yesterday, I think you'd want to use the past perfect here and say, my mom had already finished her dinner. By the time I got home yesterday, my mom had already finished her dinner. Hassani Fatumia. Fatumia is here. My mom had already cooked. What did she cook, Fatumia? I hope it was something delicious. Good. Eder says, everyone was sleeping. By the time I got home yesterday, everyone was sleeping. You must have gotten home late then. By the time I got home yesterday, everyone was sleeping. Okay? So feel free to leave another sentence there if you'd like. I'll check back on the comment section later. Christine says, by the time I got home yesterday, my husband had already slept. Okay, so that would mean that your husband already slept what that sentence suggests to me is that your husband had already slept for a long period of time. If you want to say that he was already sleeping, you could say that too. Depends what you're trying to communicate, but your sentence works if that's what you're trying to say. Hu Heap Tran says, by the time I got home yesterday, it has already rained. Remember, past tense, it had already rained. It had already rained. Okay, let's keep going. Story number 2. Here we go. I took my puppy to the vet because she had these weird bumps on her belly. As I was waiting in the exam room, I suddenly realized they were her nipples. When the vet came in, I sheepishly told him that I am a complete idiot. He was awesome. He said, "Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to open this door and you're just going to walk out. Don't stop at the front desk to check out or pay. Just keep walking." So you can imagine this girl. Is it a girl or a guy? We don't know. I don't think so. Imagine this. We'll say it's a guy this time. Imagine this guy who takes his puppy into the vet, and there's these weird bumps on his puppy's chest, and he realizes, oh my god, they're nipples. They're not weird bumps. They're actually nipples. And so of course the the veterinarian tells him to just leave. Don't worry about paying. Don't worry about checking out. Just keep walking and leave. And what's interesting about this too, in the comment below this was written by a veterinarian. So a veterinarian commented on this story that someone shared, and the veterinarian said that this happens very often, actually, more often than people would think. So I guess many people have taken their puppies to the vet before, worried that their puppy had something on their chest, these weird little bumps, and it turned out to be their nipples. Okay? So we're going to learn this word here, sheepishly. I sheepishly told him that I am a complete idiot. Here's a nice new vocabulary word for you. It's a cute word. I like it. Sheepish is showing embarrassment because of shame or a lack of confidence. So if you become aware that you've made a mistake and it's an embarrassing mistake, often you become sheepish, okay? You feel embarrassed. You show your embarrassment. I sheepishly told him that I am a complete idiot. So this person's using an adverb here. I sheepishly told him. I was embarrassed. My voice was embarrassed, and I showed it in the way that I spoke. Here's another sentence. Once he realized his mistake, a sheepish smile came to his face. A sheepish smile. You can imagine an embarrassed smile on the face. Okay, here's my question for you. When was the last time you felt sheepish? When was the last time you felt sheepish? All of us feel sheepish from time to time. Taylor asks if I have any pets. When I'm staying at my mom's house in Calgary, she has 4 cats. Christine asks sheepishly. Perfect. So that's what we're talking about. Taylor, when I stay at my mom's house in Calgary, she's got 4 cats there. I personally don't have any pets, but I grew up with pets all around me throughout my childhood. We always had dogs and cats, and I really love animals. So in the future, maybe in a few years, I don't know because I still want to travel a little bit, but in the future, I definitely would like to have I'd like to have pets. You're asking, does sheepish have something to do with the animal sheep? That's a good question. I don't actually know the answer if the word comes from that. I'll look it up after, though, because that's a good question. Grace says the puppy is already a lady. Okay. By the time I got home yesterday, the guest had already left. Good sentence, Islam. Nicely done. Taylor, by the time I got home yesterday, my mom had already finished her dinner, would be more natural to say there. Had already finished her dinner. And Fatumia had rice and coconut vegetable with... Ooh, that sounds delicious. You're making me hungry, Fatumia. By the time I got home yesterday, Patricia says, I had a surprise. My boyfriend was with another girl. Oh my, I hope that's not true. And if it is true, I'm sorry to hear that. You could say, if you wanted to combine those sentences, you could say, by the time I got home yesterday, I was surprised to see. That would be better with when, though. By the time I got home yesterday, there was a surprise waiting for me. My boyfriend was with another girl. Okay? So tell me in the comment section, when was the last time that you guys felt sheepish? Remember, sheepish means showing embarrassment. When was the last time you felt sheepish? Okay? Let's keep going with the last story here. This one is funny too. I love this one. Story number 3. And this is from a teacher. I'm a PE teacher at an elementary school. We were in the middle of a gymnastics unit, and I was demonstrating a forward roll for a 3rd grade class. So this is what he means by forward roll here. When I flipped, I saw something pink fly out of my pants leg. It was a pair of my daughter's underwear that must have clung to the inside of my pants when I got them out of the dryer. I picked them up before any of them really noticed exactly what they were. So this PE teacher is demonstrating to his 3rd grade class how to do a forward roll like this. When he does a forward roll, some pink panties, his daughter's pink panties, slip out of his pants, and the panties must have got caught to his they must have clung to his pant leg when he was washing the clothes, when he was washing these pants and his daughter's panties, I guess. He quickly picked up the panties before anyone noticed them, and that was that. Quite an embarrassing story again, and definitely one that I appreciated reading. Okay, so we're gonna look at this word clung. Here's a nice verb that you can use. We're learning some nice sounding words today. Sheepish, clung. Clung is the past tense of cling. So the verb cling means to hold on tightly to something. You can see this child holding on to his mother here, presumably his mother. The child clung to his mother. So this child right now is clinging to his mother. You could also talk about it abstractly, kind of. So you could say something like, she's still clinging to her past relationship. She's still clinging to her past relationship. And that means that she's still holding on tightly to her past relationship, maybe because she wants to get back together with her ex-boyfriend, or maybe because it was, who knows? There are a number of reasons that why she could be clinging to a past relationship. So my final question for you today: why is this orangutan clinging to this person's leg? Be creative. Think about something. Look, it looks like the orangutan is looking at something. Tell me why this orangutan is clinging to this person's leg. That's my final question for you for today, before all of us start our weekend. Okay. Ooh, I missed quite a few comments. So Taylor says, I felt sheepish when I called my boyfriend by my ex-boyfriend's name. Yeah, that's not a good one. That's never fun. Taylor, thanks for sharing that. That's a good one. How Nguyen Van says, I always feel sheepish as my face has pimples. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a difficult one. I feel sheepish too whenever I have pimples. For some reason, I always get pimples like right in the middle between my eyes too. And it's so frustrating. It's like the worst place to get them. And I'm always, whenever I have one, I'm always self-conscious about it. I'm always thinking about it during the day. So I can sympathize with you. Christine says, I felt sheepish from a long time ago when I suggested something in a business email, and I expected that I have a genius idea, but unfortunately my boss rejected. Well, Christine, I think we can all relate to that feeling. Thank you for sharing, by the way. I think all of us have felt like we've had really smart ideas sometimes, and then at times, and then when we tell other people, and we see their reaction, it's often quite disappointing. I can certainly relate to that, so don't feel too bad about that. Hu Hiep Tran says, the last time I felt sheepish was when, you could say, I wore the shirt with a large hole in the back. Yeah, that happens too to everyone, I think. And that would certainly cause most people to feel sheepish. Let me see, where was I? Patricia says, I felt sheepish when my little dog peed on my friend's carpet. Yeah. And I'm assuming your dog did not feel sheepish. Crazy Mom and Twins is with us. Hello. Good to see you again, Crazy Mom and Twins. Taylor says, I hope that's a true story. I think all of these are true stories. They sound pretty believable to me. And, I mean, they were all shared anonymously, so who knows how true they are, but I would like to believe that they're true as well. Grace doesn't believe the last one. Islam says, the last time I felt sheepish was in a public presentation when I was talking for more than 15 minutes. Then I realized that the mic was off. Oh no, that's horrible. Yeah, one time I used to be in a band in Canada years ago. This was in maybe 2011. This was probably 2009 or 2010. I was in a band and we were playing a show. And we were ready to perform, except the only thing that wasn't working was my bass guitar. There was no sound coming out. So we were trying to figure out why there was no sound, what was wrong with it. And we got the sound guy to come up, and the show was delayed for like 10, 15 minutes, and it was really bad. It was the people in the room were getting impatient. And I realized afterwards that I had plugged it into the wrong amplifier, or that I didn't even plug it in at all. I can't remember, but it was a really stupid, silly mistake like that. And I told my bandmates after, and they were they laughed at me. They made a lot of fun of me, as they should have, because that was a really stupid mistake that I made. So I can sympathize with you too. Christine says, oh my, I missed quite a bit here. Let me go. I felt sheepish from a long time ago when I oh no, I read that. I see. Christine was repeating her comment, I think. Yes. Okay. Fatumia, I felt sheepish when I saw in the mirror with cream on my face at work. So you didn't realize that you had cream on your face at work. I wish, you know, whenever I have something on my face, I hope that people tell me that it's there. I think we all have a responsibility to tell other people, especially if we're familiar with them. If these are your coworkers, I think they should have told you that you had cream on your face. That would have been a nice thing to do. Okay, the orangutan is afraid. Yeah. Maybe he's afraid of something. Patricia says he's clinging to this person's leg because his mother was dead. That just got dark very fast. Hopefully not for this orangutan, but maybe. Nim Green Smile 13 says orangutan is clinging on person's leg because he wants to go with him. Maybe he just likes this person's leg and wants to hang out. Elizabeth Ayu, because the orangutan doesn't want him to leave. Yeah, that's a possible reason. Taylor says the orangutan definitely loves people with long legs. Yeah, maybe. Fatumia says this orangutan is clinging to this person's leg because it feels comfortable and safe. Safe, we would want to say. He wants to eat the meal, says Hu Hiep Tran. Yeah, maybe the orangutan is hungry. I'm clinging with God's promises in the Holy Bible. You'd want to say I'm clinging to God's promises in the Holy Bible. We cling to things, okay? Maybe the monkey fear of something and he is clinging to the person's leg to rescue him and feel secure. Maybe, Christine, I think so. It looks like he feels more secure on this person's leg. I would agree with you there. All right, everyone, so thank you for sharing all of your sheepish stories, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you found these stories as funny as I did. I know that yesterday, or this morning rather, when I was putting all of these stories together and preparing this lesson, I was laughing to myself quite a bit. I think they're hilarious stories, and I hope they're true. at the very least, we can all relate to them in some way, I think. Okay? So have a wonderful weekend. The sun has finally come up over here where I'm living in Canada. And yeah, don't feel bad when you make mistakes, because all of us make mistakes all the time. Try to laugh at yourself, and it will make things a lot easier. Or share your mistakes in the comment section of this video. Okay? Take care, everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.